Thomas and Friends Retold. Episode 4, James and the Express, A Proud Day for James. One night, Henry and Gordon were alone with James at Tidmouth Sheds. Although Sir Topham Hatt was beginning to think well of him, whenever a chance came, Gordon would talk about nothing but bootlaces. "Remember when they had to use a bootlace to get you out of trouble, James?" he would tease. James tried to get back by talking about Gordon, who got stuck on a hill, but he wouldn't listen. And Henry felt bad for James. "You talk too much, little James," said Gordon. "A fine strong engine like me has something to talk about. I am the only engine who can pull the express. When I'm not there, I need two engines. Think of that. I've pulled the express for years, and have never lost my way. I seem to know the right line by instinct. Every wise engine knows the signalman sets the switches to make the engines run on the right tracks, but Gordon was so proud he had forgotten about that. The next morning, Gordon said, "Wake up, James. It's time for the express. What are you doing? Odd jobs? Oh well, we all have to begin somewhere, don't we? Run along and get my coaches. Don't be late." James felt tired, sad, and went to Gordon's coaches. They were all shining with new paint. James was careful not to bump them and followed him smoothly into Knapford Station singing happily, "We're going away! We're going away!" James began to smile. "I wish I were going with you," he said. "I should love to pull the express and go flying along the line." James left the coaches on the platform for Gordon. He was with much noise and blowing of steam and got ready to back onto the train. Gordon coupled up to his coaches. Sir Topham Hatt was on the train with the other important people, and as soon as they heard the conductor's whistle, Gordon started. "Look at me now! Look at me now!" he puffed, and the coaches glided after him as he whistled. "Goodbye, little James. See you tomorrow." James watched the train disappear before he went back to work. He pushed some freight cars into their proper sidings and went to fetch the coaches for another train. James had just brought the coaches into the platform when he heard a mournful noise. Something was wrong. There was an embarrassed Gordon trying to sneak into the station without being noticed. "Hello, Gordon. Is it tomorrow?" teased James. Gordon didn't answer. He just let off steam feebly. "Did you lose your way, Gordon?" teased James again. "No, it was lost for me. I was switched off the main line onto the loop. I had to go round and back again," said Gordon. "Perhaps it was instinct," said James. All the passengers got off Gordon's train and were shouting at the ticket window, saying that they wanted their money back, and what a bad railway it was. Sir Topham Hatt climbed onto a car and blew the conductor's whistle so loudly that they all stopped to look at him. Then he promised a new train for once. "Gordon can't do it. Will you pull it for us, James?" asked Sir Topham Hatt. "Yes, sir. I'll try," replied James. So he was coupled up to Gordon's coaches and everyone got in. "Do your best, James," said Sir Topham Hatt. Come along, puffed James as he left Knapford Station. You're pulling us well, sang the coaches. Hurry, 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 puffed James. Bridges and stations flashed by. The passengers cheered, and as soon as they reached Marin Station, everyone thanked James for all his hard work, and Sir Topham Hatt was very impressed. "Well done, James. Would you like to pull the express sometimes?" "Yes, please," answered James. The next day, when James came by Knapford Yard, Gordon was moving freight cars. "I do so like some quiet work for a change," he said. "I'm teaching these cars some manners. You did well with those coaches, I hear." "Good. We'll show them." And Gordon gave his cars a bump. He and James are now good friends. James sometimes takes the express to give Gordon a rest, and he never talks about bootlaces, and they're both quite agreed on the subject of freight cars.